Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you may be in the world. Thank you for joining me for another edition of the Truth Conductor Show. Happy Saturday, everybody. How y'all doing today? Um, Beautiful day, man. We still got a lot of snow in the city, but it is what it is. Um, Yeah, it is what it is. How y'all doing today? Everybody okay? I hope y'all doing well. Had a great day today. Um, Man, I gotta tell you, I've really been trying to find my voice as to what's going on. How am I? Um, what is it that I'm really trying um, to convey to what's my goal, what's my purpose? I mean, I'm really because and this might be one of the dangers of um, trying to get something to work. When you constantly trying ideas and nothing gets traction, then you start second guessing yourself pretty much, because that doubt is going to set in, is what I'm doing really worth it? What is this something that, and that's where you going to have to step in and decide, what it's going to be, what you're going to do. And the very first thing that you need to do is separate yourself from the pack. What do you mean, true conductor? Separate? How I separate myself from the pack? Be different. Be different. Just put another twist to it. As long as you're blending in with the rest of the people, you don't stand out. You don't stand out. Hey, Katrina, you're the first one up in here. Thank you for joining me. The whole job is to stand out. You know. Boy, I tell you, Robert. Train hats, Hank's black. Okay. Yeah. But see, I looked apart. I looked apart. When I walk into a situation, whether it be at the courthouse, at the White House, or any demonstration, you know, I looked apart. I'm gonna stand out in the crowd, all because I looked apart. What's going on here? Look like I got somebody I need to get out of here. Let me see who this is. See who this is. Okay. Now I need to get this person out of here. Let me see. Let's see here. When you joined in 2018, I might let you stick around. Might let you stick around. No, this is too much. That's too much. That's too much. Let me go on and put you in and hide you. Go get your other account and come up in here. But anyway, the main your main objective is to be seen. That's your is to stand out in the crowd. That's your main objective. And you can't do that blending in. You can't do that doing what everybody else is doing. You don't stand out following the crowd. And unfortunately, we have so many people right now that the only thing they do is know how to follow. They don't lead. They don't want to take a risk. They don't want they want the notoriety. They want the recognition, but when it comes down to really working for it, it's and I'll tell you, and see, and when you do, yeah, when you do stand out in the crowd, that's how you get attention. You got to present something different. You got to step off into your creativity and just be different. Like, okay, so at the White House, you get a lot of people come in there to protest their frustration, their anger, their disappointment. They come with a lot of hostility, anger. But that's not separating you from the pack. That's what everybody's coming down there to do. So I decided, let me go down there and I'll play the national anthems of other countries while I'm there. Okay? That's what I'll do. I got to figure out, man, how am I going to separate myself from the pack? That's how I came up with my sign. I'm looking at everybody else coming down with poster boards that they're holding up, and I said, well, I need something different. If I'm gonna come down with my message, let me come down with a sign that not that you can see. See, let me show you something. And I learned this through trial and error. Really, I did. I learned it through trial and error. Let me see, because when I first and this is why when you have people that you're working with, they can show you the difference. Okay, they can enlighten you. And when I went to to have my sign made, the lady told me, she said, I understand what you're trying to do, but you need to break this up so that people can see it from a distance. Because if you leave it one color, when people are far away, it's gonna be blurry. They're not gonna be able to. Let me show you. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Where's my first sign? I can't. Let's see here. I'm trying to get one of my very first signs. And see, and this is another thing. If your ideas are not growing in your mind, they're dead. Hold on, let me see here. Okay, so let me show you. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Yeah. Okay. So this is one of my first signs right here. This right here is one of my first signs. And notice I got hating. Hating is the only word that's a different color. Okay, this is when I this is my first, and notice I'm advertising truthconductor.tv. That's what and that's one of the things I've always done is I've advertised myself. Okay, I've always advertised myself, even when nobody. And I think that's one of the things that people kind of. I've always everything that I with this message has always been to advertise myself. Okay, so I started out with this, and again, if your idea is not growing in your mind, it is dead. Okay, so then I went from truthconductor.tv to dcblacktours.com. Okay, that was my notice. I only got one red word. Stop hating each other because you disagree. Only one word is red. So I'm going now. I've okay. So let me start another font. And I went from that font. Let me find the next one. Where you at? What is this? Okay. And so what I realized, this is what I realized. Uh, Man, I don't know who. You ain't got enough money for me to get naked. It's just that simple. You ain't got enough money. You ain't got enough money. You know, no, you ain't got enough money. That's all. That's a waste of my time. That's exactly a waste of my time. Sure is. Cause if I'm gonna get naked, I'm getting something out of it. Ain't gonna be for no thrill either. No, because I no, I kind of put my tours on hold. I put my tours on hold because there is a deliberate attempt to I don't know, what is it about Black history that people are afraid of, but it's just something that they don't want to learn. Um, yeah, it's just something people don't want to learn. So, I just said, you know what? Since this message is so universal, this is what I'm going to deal with. Rising tide raise all ships. So I have ideas that I've already manifested. So now, if
when one idea becomes successful, all of them, now I can take the success of that idea and put it into another idea to create another stream of income. And unfortunately, see, most folk think that, the only stream of income that you should enjoy is working for somebody else. You know, that's what they think. Working for somebody else. So then again, I told you, if your ideas are not growing in your mind, they're dead. So I went from uh, truthconductor.tv, dcblacktours.com, to just, okay, well, let me just go with Truth Conductor, because if they Google that, all of my social media come up. And then I came up with this design. I changed the font. Okay, I came up with that design. And notice I got red, black, red. Okay? That's what I got. I got stop hating in red, each other because you disagree in black, and Truth Conductor in black. And you can see it from a distance because it's broken up. See, if you don't break the colors up, they're gonna all blend in from a distance. That's one of the things I learned. And see, and here's another thing. When you're out expressing your creativity, you know, you're going to start seeing other things. You're going to start, what's going on, Project? How you doing? Everything's good, man. I can't complain. I'm above ground. I'm above ground. See, here we go. See, that's all three. That's all three of them right there. That's what I started out. That's how I started out. And then I noticed that in some photos my sign was too big. So I went and knocked it down a little bit. And then I went even got a smaller one, so that when I'm close up, then I can get my small sign. You gotta separate yourself from the crowd. Matter of fact, let me show you. I just saw this. I just saw this guy. I want to try to show you. Just be different, man. That's the only way you gonna stand out. Is let me show you something. Now. See, that's when this how I got the idea. That is this guy Paul Manafort. That's his lawyer. Okay. All right. This is Paul Manafort's lawyer right here. One day we were outside the courthouse, and I mean all day long. We stayed out there all day long, waiting for this guy to come out. And he comes up to the camera and he says to the microphones, he said, I have nothing to say. Thank y'all for coming. And started walking off. And I'm like, wait a minute. I done sat here all day long waiting on this guy to come so I can get behind him while he's on the microphone, and he takes off and start walking, and I just take off right behind him. Man, I can't tell you some of the now notice that I got dhfolden.com. That's my website. This is my website, man. I'm gonna come out and I'm gonna promote me. When I first started doing this, back when Trump was first elected, I went down in front of his hotel, and when I got out my van, all I heard was guerrilla warfare marketing. That's all I heard. Guerrilla warfare marketing. Okay? And I said, all right, I got that. And then I realized I need to have I need to define what is guerrilla warfare marketing. It's free marketing when the world is watching, because you ambush people. You're ambushing situations to get free advertisement. So I used to have dhfolden.com. Now this is at a Second Amendment. I went down to Richmond to this, and these guys had all these guns, boy, and so I went down to get me some free advertisement, and told them, see, look, dcblacktours.com, guerrilla warfare marketing. That's that that's how I did. See, that's where I got my idea. This I'm doing this for myself. Doing this for myself. Okay? So when Stop Hating Each Other Because You Disagree came along, I was like, man, I like this message. I need to put that message on this sign. And I said, I'm gonna step out there because I, out of all of my creations, I've never created a universal message. In all of my creations, DCBlackTours.com was local. That wasn't universal. That couldn't fit anywhere in the world. That was specifically to DC. But when I came up with Stop Hating Each Other Because You Disagree, now I got something that will fit anywhere in the world. It would work in any language. Okay, this will work. So my job is to get it in front of as many people as I possibly can. So since I started out with start and I don't just you notice that rarely do I get in a crowd where there are a whole lot of signs, because I don't stand out. When I think about Don Lemon going into the church with those protesters, well, if it happens to him, it can happen to you. So you got to be careful about what you allow happen to somebody else, because there might come a time when you want to express your viewpoint. And if you're okay with somebody else's First Amendment rights being violated, then it's going to come a time when it's going to come to you. So what's going to happen when your First Amendment rights? See, everybody is cool when it's somebody else. See, a lot of folk, they have an opinion when it's somebody else. But then when it happens to them, now they got a problem. Now they're upset. But you wasn't upset when it was happening to somebody else. So you have to be careful with that, man. Okay? Be careful with that. Cause that truly will spiral out of control. Cause if you do it to him, what's stopping you from doing it to Chris Cuomo or Joe Scarborough or some of these other big time, and then that's going, and so when the lesser people come along and try to, so if you don't like what they're showing and you arrest them, you know, and see, and here's the part that bothers me. The Justice Department should be independent from the president. But you notice that's his own personal machine. You know, the Department of Justice is Trump's own personal lawyers. Um, BKL said, I just don't think the church, well, they fornicating in church. Sleeping together in church. Adultery is in church. You know, look at pedophiles in church. But you got a problem with a reporter. But look at all of the other sin that's in church. And I'm even willing to bet you got some church hurt. I bet you got church hurt and you defending it. Make it make sense. I guarantee you got some church hurt. Somebody has abused you, misused you in church. Now tell me I'm lying. And tell me I'm lying. I guarantee you got some church hurt. But yet you don't think nobody should come into church. No, man. That's come on. We got to stop being emotional and look at it for what it's worth. Somebody got to do it. Somebody has to do that. Somebody has to challenge that. And in reality, you know, the only thing Trump has done is just made these people more popular. A lot of people didn't even know who Don Lemon was or the other girl. They didn't even know who they were. And now all of a sudden, look what you've done. Look how many followers that you have exposed them to. Now they got an even bigger platform because they've been arrested. Their platform is even bigger than what it was. And that's how some people do it. That's how some folk do it. Well, I'm just saying, you leave well enough alone. And you're gonna have a lot of people that want to go out here. See right now, everybody want to jump on the bandwagon. Because it's the thing to do. They weren't making the sacrifices when it wasn't a thing to do. See, they wasn't involved with that. You got a lot of people right now that's going to be talking about unity and coming together, and because that's the thing to do. But they ain't got no track record of doing that, saying those things when it wasn't the thing to do. See, those are the people that you need to be listening to, the ones who were doing it when it wasn't the thing to do. You see, when it wasn't popular to be on the front line. And most folk are afraid to be on the flat line. Oh, you one of the lucky ones, B, if you don't have no church hurt. You're one of the lucky ones. Because there are a lot of people that do. Okay? There are a lot of people that do. They're suffering from church hurt. And see, and I think the whole reasoning behind this demonstration is the pastor of the church was working for ICE. That's the whole reason is the pastor was employed by ICE. And I have a I have a problem with the way they are executing. They're treating people. They don't have no compassion, man. You know, just because you are an illegal, don't make you a criminal. Don't mean you have to be treated like you're dirt. I mean, they just have interrupted folks' lives, man. Lock people up. You know, now their apartments, they're gonna lose everything because they'll end up getting evicted. And when they get evicted, people gonna steal all this shit. Okay, and they ain't gonna have nothing. And a lot of these people that they are sending to these other countries, that's for life. They ain't getting out. They gonna be in there till they die. Because the United States of America is paying for them. Ain't no more coming back. You know, them people that they sent, I saw where they sent some white person over to Africa, to a little small country in Africa. They sent somebody. You think they gonna get back to America? No, you gonna die. You gonna die there. Well, that's another story. That's another story. That right there is a whole different story, boy. I ain't lying, but we got a lot going on, man. And a lot of this has to do with why we don't trust each other. Why we're not willing to give each other a chance. Because of some of the people that's out in front of us that have had the chance and messed it up. That's why, you know, it's just that simple. You know, I can tell you, you know, see, right now, it's gonna be if you could solve this racial divide that we have right now, you can be you probably could be real rich if you could just mend this racial divide that we got in America. And I would venture to say that I would like to go around the world and interview black people in other countries to show you outside of Africa, to show you that they all have a similar story all over the world. Black people have a similar story all over the world. You know, and what's happening to white people right now, we've experienced that. We've gone through that. That's why you don't see black folk up. We've been trying to tell you, we've been dealing with this for the longest. Still dealing with it. You know, black folk being killed indiscriminately. And people getting away with it. We've experienced that. We go through that. That's nothing new for us. It's new to y'all, but that ain't new to us. That's not new to us. We've been through that. And when you really sit down and think about it, the Civil War was white people fighting other white people over the rights of black folk. That's what the Civil War was about. White people fighting other white people over the rights of black folk. That's what it was about. You see, so don't it is what it is. And we got to we got to a lot of stuff we don't want to put on the table and talk it out. We don't want to do that because we be pretending like everything is hunky dory, everything is okay, and it's not. It's not. But people pretend that it is. And we need to do better, man. We need to talk this thing out. Cause all we doing is just making the rich richer. And they got us fighting each other. Like cats and dogs, man, on a sinking ship. Cause they got all the lifeboats. And we fighting each other like cats and dogs on a sinking ship. And don't realize if my half of the ship go down, yours ain't gonna stay afloat. And right now, we got people fighting to destroy the other half of the ship. Like theirs is safe. And it ain't. We all are doomed. And for some reason, that message don't resonate. If we don't get our act together, we all are doomed. I don't care how rich or how poor. Man, you're doomed. Because a divided house can't stand. A divided country can't stand. It can't stand. It's a shame, man, that we have so many Americans who are going to other countries experiencing success and they can't experience it in their own land. You know, that's sad. When I gotta go to a foreign land to experience some success that I can't experience in my own country. I can't make it in my own country. I gotta go somewhere else. And people don't see nothing wrong with that picture. You can't make it in America. You gotta go somewhere else. And that's just that's a sad commentary, man. For me to experience some success, I got to leave my own country and go somewhere else. BKL says, it seems like the ship is sinking in America. Why is that? Why is that? Why is it that Americans can't have hope in America? Why is that? And we're not even talking about it. We're not even discussing it. And see, and even at 73, I can tell you that doing what I do, I see a lot of resistance. And I'm trying to do the right thing. And I get resistance. So what do you think these young people are experiencing? That's trying to do the right thing and ain't getting no encouragement. Ain't getting no uplift. We don't want to uplift each other. You go get a job. You have no people will make fun of you because you trying to be independent because you want to break from the system. You want to create your own opportunity. People may go get a job. I just had a guy. Listen. Let me show you. I can't explain it. I just had to correct a guy. Um, uh, I had this guy. He said, "What was it? What did he say? Um, my statement was up to this point, being positive has not been profitable. Carry on. Uh, and this guy said, I think you have a lot to offer. Many employers out there looking for good help. And I said, my response was, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Because I'm not supposed to want to be independent because I need to go get a job. Thank you for proving my point. See, and people will tell you quick, oh man, go get a job. Go work for somebody else instead of trying to dream, to be independent, to stand on your own. Folk don't want to see that. They want you on a job, working for somebody. And you ain't gonna never be paid what you worth on a job. Never. You're not gonna be paid what you're actually worth. I don't care how much money you're making. You're worth more. But you're not gonna get that working for somebody else. And that's why I'm telling you, man, you gotta separate yourself from the pack. All these people, that's doing what they do, man, if it's a thing to do, stay away from it. Let me say that again. If it's the thing to do, Steve say, I agree with you on getting paid your worth. The independent road is rough. High risk equal high reward. Yeah, but you have less headache when you're independent. See, you have to look at things differently when you're independent. See, when you're working for somebody, you take stuff for granted until they snatch the rug from under you. And that's what so many people are experiencing now. Man, done worked all their life and then get down to the end and company goes bankrupt, or they lose their pension, they lose their retirement, and they done put all these years on the job, and now you can't. And here's another thing, and this is something that most white people don't experience. See, I'm gonna say 9 out of 10 black people have been screwed over one way or the other. 9 out of 10. In some cases, it could be 10 out of 10. Black people that have been screwed over one way or the other by the system. Or they know somebody that's been screwed over. I'm serious with that. And see, and unfortunately, when we get screwed over, we have to get over it. Okay? Yeah. I'm serious about that, man. That's true. And what recourse? Think about it, man. Hear Steve say, I saw a video of a guy being told the company pension was gone after he put in 30 years. You could hear the pain in his voice. I'm telling you. There are situations like that where people done gave their whole lives to situations only to come up empty in the end. I never will forget when they stole my job from Metro back in 2010. I tried to tell people, how I was mistreating everybody. Get over it. Get it. Just, okay, it happened, so what? And they outright stole my job. I mean, stole it. And I never could seem to get anybody any interest to say, man, help me with this. I've been wrong. So what I did was, man, I just put my head down and said, okay, I'm gonna be successful at something. My story is still gonna get told, whether you want to hear it or not. And I mean, boy, they did me with no lube. I ain't have no lube on the screwing I got. I mean, and man, and the most the hurting part about this is my mom died thinking I was lying, that I wasn't telling the truth about what happened in Metro. My mother died thinking that I wasn't telling her the truth about why I got fired. That's hurting part, man. My mom could never see the truth. And I mean, they raked me over the coals, boy. They raked me over the coals. Wamada, Metro. Yep, sure did. Teamsters Local 922 did a job on me, buddy. Left me for dead. And here I am I'm still at it. Okay? All right? I'm telling you. I'm telling you. But sometimes, just like Cash App. Cash App deactivated my account saying I violated their terms of service, and I have yet to find out what I did. And that was one of my main. So man, I had Bernie. If Bernie ever come, man, Bernie is the biggest giver that I just looked at. Man, Bernie was my biggest giver, and second was Everett. Everett started out being the biggest giver, but Bernie passed him. And thank you, Bernie, man. Thank you, brother. Thank you, Everett. Okay, for all of the, I mean, it is. Thank you, I appreciate it. You were there. Greed, greed, and that's why greed. That's why our infrastructure is screwed up. Greed. Man, people saving money, making money. It's just greed. And usually that's what happens, man. When you get people that don't have any concern or care about and compassion about, it's greed. It's greed. Yeah, man. Oh man. I listen. A lot of people, um, really condemn me for voicing my opinion about what happened to me with the job. And like I told you, 9 out of 10 black folk either been screwed over or know somebody been screwed over. And that's just the way the system works for us. And people just don't care. They just don't care. Oh, black? That's your problem. You got to deal with that. But anyway, man, stop blending in with the crowd. Stop trying to be like everybody. Okay? Person say I'm a Muslim. What is your opinion of Muslim? Man, listen. You can be whatever you want to be. At the end of the day, when you close your eyes, ain't gonna have one impact on me. I could care less what you are. Hey, you need to be worried about when you close your eyes at the end of the day for good. That's what you got to deal with that, not me. Okay? I worked for 8 years, man. I was there. But see, I was vocal. Matter of fact, um, I was more of a true conductor back then because they tried to intimidate me, man, and they couldn't. They couldn't. They just couldn't intimidate me, and they tried. And that's why they upset because I wouldn't be intimidated. So it happens. And seeing right now, see, they say hindsight is 2020. See, if they came in and did an investigation right now, they would find out everything I was saying was true. What they didn't like was my delivery because they couldn't. Man, I mean, they couldn't. Fuck them. I was not scared to voice my opinion. I was not scared. And um, well, but see, man, you got good and bad in everybody. There's some good black folk. Man, there's some horrible motherfuckers who are black. Okay? I mean, that's just the reality. But unfortunately, everybody gets judged by the bad. We don't get judged by what good black folk do. We get judged by what bad folk do. When somebody and if you think I'm lying, right now, when you hear there's a mass shooting or something, man, every black person, first thing they say, man, I sure hope they wasn't black. When somebody come out and do some crazy shit, these mass shootings or not, ask any black person, first thought come to their mind, man, I sure hope he ain't black. Because they know if it was a black person doing that, everybody gonna suffer. Everybody gonna have to deal with the consequences. And you don't even know the person, but you still being judged because of the color of your skin. That's just reality, man. That's just the reality of the situation. And a lot of people, I saw where Ricky Smiley said that black folk who pledged in black fraternities and sororities are suffering with PTSD, and he's telling the truth. That's true. Sororities and fraternities have screwed up a lot of black people, and I'm in one. I don't associate with them, but I'm in one because they're full of shit. Um, Man, there are rigid and heartless people right here in America. But see, my question is, how come good people in all races can't recognize other good people and come together? That's what I've been preaching. How come good people can't come together and stop this craziness? That's what needs to happen. All right? All right, man. I just thought I'd come on here. I'm still asking God to show me exactly what I'm supposed to be dealing with. Because we're in a crisis right now. We really are. We really are in a crisis as a people. And, things might be looking good for you right now. But at any moment, it could go south and not work out. And, the people that you demonize could be the very ones that have your answer. The very people you're demonizing could be the ones with your answer. But you let all these distractions get in your way and you miss out. Just that simple. Okay? All right, man.